On Yuralis IV, where crystalline forests hummed with bioluminescent life, the Syrian thrived as a proud warrior people. Their culture was carved from honor, duty, and blood oaths, values that kept their world safe against the endless threats of the frontier. Matriarch Yuralis HFY-style, decorated commander of the Syrian vanguard, embodied those values more than any other. She had lost comrades, siblings, and lovers to war, but she still stood firm, a pillar of resilience. In the capital city of Yavath, Yuralis raised her only daughter, Seren, who struggled to fit the mold of her mother's expectations. Unlike most Syrian children, Seren was gentle, introspective, more fascinated by painting the glowing petals of crystal flora than wielding a plasma spear. Yuralis respected her daughter's heart, yet feared it would be crushed by a cruel galaxy. So when Yuralis was ordered to host an emissary from Earth, one of the Deathworld species recently entering the galactic stage, she hesitated. Humans were rumored to be dangerous, volatile, unpredictable. But diplomacy demanded cooperation. The emissary arrived quietly at the starport, a tall, scarred man dressed not in formal armor but a worn flight jacket. His name was David Locke, once a humanitarian escort pilot during Earth's resource wars, now chosen to represent humanity's interests in Syrian space. He bowed politely to Yuralis, awkward but sincere. "Commander Turs, thank you for receiving me," he said. "You stand under my protection while on this world," she replied. "Do not take the honor lightly." David nodded, gaze steady yet soft. "I won't." Yuralis expected arrogance. Instead, she found humility, and a careful distance, as if he feared stepping wrong in a society he did not yet understand. She introduced him to her daughter, who greeted him with shy curiosity. David's smile was small but genuine. "It's an honor, Seren." She colored faintly glowing violet, as Syrians did when flustered. "Beginning, whispers and wounds." Over the following weeks, David navigated diplomatic halls and political chambers with deliberate calm. Yet rumors followed him, about his past, about the things he'd seen on Earth. Some Syrian soldiers scoffed at him. "The human is too quiet. Does he even know how to fight? Soft heart, soft bones." Yuralis remained neutral, watching with the caution of a seasoned warrior. But one thing surprised her: David's kindness toward Seren. When others mocked the girl for her gentleness, David encouraged her instead. He listened to her describe her art. He asked about the meaning behind her brushstrokes, about the way Syrian pigments captured light. Seren bloomed around him, still shy, but brighter. Yuralis noticed, but refrained from commenting. She had lost too much to hope easily. Then came the initiation trials, where young Syrians proved their readiness to join the vanguard. Seren was not required to participate. She was too gentle, too unfocused, too unprepared. Yet her peers pushed her into a mock combat ring in the courtyard, taunting her to demonstrate Syrian spirit. Yuralis was away in council when it happened. Seren, trembling, held a training spear as the older initiates circled her. Their blows were not lethal, but cruel, meant to humiliate. She staggered, bruises blooming violet along her arms. David, passing through the courtyard, froze. For a moment, he watched as if trapped between worlds, between the pacifism he clung to and the violence he wanted to forget. But when Seren fell, curling to shield herself, something in David broke loose. He pushed through the circle without hesitation. "Enough!" he barked. The initiates laughed, until David placed himself between them and Seren, shielding her with his own body. When the next blow came, he took it squarely across the back, stumbling but refusing to move aside. Another strike followed. Then another. Blunt weapons slammed into him, cracking the air with force. David did not strike back. He simply endured, unflinching, protecting Seren with nothing but his body. "Hit me all you want," he growled through clenched teeth. "But leave her alone." The courtyard fell silent. Syrians valued strength, but they valued sacrifice even more. When Veolyra returned and learned what happened, her fury was volcanic. She berated the initiates, demanding discipline and honor. But when she turned to David, who stood battered, bruised, breath ragged yet composed, something shifted inside her. Her voice softened. "You protected my daughter." David met her gaze, eyes dark with exhaustion. "She shouldn't have had to face cruelty to prove worth," he said quietly. "No one should." Those words echoed in Veolyra's heart long after. Middle. A human's quiet strength. Veolyra oversaw David's medical treatment personally, more out of instinct than protocol. His injuries were severe. Syrian blows were not gentle, but he bore them with strange serenity. While recovering in her home, David spent hours speaking softly to Seren, describing Earth's forests, oceans, old stories of perseverance. Veolyra listened from the doorway more than once, conflicted. Why did his presence unsettle her so? Part of her resented that he showed Seren a world she could not. Another part felt drawn to the fire beneath his restraint, the strength that did not boast, the protectiveness that demanded no recognition. As David healed, he and Veolyra spoke more, about war, about sacrifice, about the weight of command. David confessed that Earth's wars had carved him hollow. "I swore I'd never raise a weapon again," he admitted. "Not unless there was no other choice." Veolyra understood far too well. "Burden shapes us more than glory," she murmured. Seren noticed the way her mother's gaze lingered on David, longer than duty required. Perhaps Veolyra noticed too. But she did not act. Not yet. Then came the Threxian marauders, slavers who prowled the frontier. They descended upon a nearby settlement, capturing civilians while the vanguard scrambled to respond. Veolyra led the counterattack with ferocity, but the marauders were cruel and well-armed. David, though still healing, insisted on flying a rescue craft to extract survivors. Veolyra attempted to refuse, but his eyes were resolute. "If I can help, I won't stand aside." His vessel was struck during extraction. Crash landing near the fighting, he staggered out of the wreckage, shielding evacuating civilians with his own body once again. Dragging wounded through falling debris, pushing children behind cover, refusing evacuation until the last survivor boarded. He did not raise a weapon, but still fought with everything he had. When Veolyra saw him bloodied yet unbroken, something flooded her chest, something she had not felt since youth. Desire, not of the flesh alone, but of spirit. A pull toward someone whose strength matched hers, but whose heart remained gentle where hers was scarred. She tried to ignore it. Failed. Ending. Confession under crystal light. Weeks later, peace returned, though scars remained. One night, beneath the glowing canopy of the crystal forest, Yuralis found David alone, looking up at refracted starlight. "David," she said, voice low, "why do you risk yourself for others so readily?" He hesitated. "Because someone once protected me when I didn't deserve it. I've been trying to repay that debt ever since." Yuralis stepped closer, pulse quickening. "You took blows meant for my daughter. You faced death without a blade. My people admire warriors, yet many have forgotten why we fight. You reminded them." David swallowed. "I didn't mean to earn anyone's attention." "Yet you have mine," she whispered. Silence hung, thick, trembling. "Seren told me," he murmured, "that sirens don't speak desire lightly." "We don't," Yuralis breathed. "But I speak now. I desire your presence, more than duty will ever admit." David's gaze softened, but did not waver. "And what of Seren?" "She admires you," Yuralis said. "But she wants me to live, not merely lead." The air between them glowed with refracted starlight. David exhaled slowly. "I don't know what future I deserve, but I know where I want to stand." "Beside me?" Yuralis asked. He nodded once. "Beside you." And beneath the crystalline boughs of Yuralis IV, the matriarch and the human shared a quiet, unspoken vow, not forged of war, but of mutual strength, scarred hearts, and newfound possibility. He protected her daughter. Now she protects his heart. In the chronicles of Deathworld Legends, this was not recorded as a tale of conquest, but of sacrifice, longing, and the desire that blooms after pain.